have just been listening to Ontario's Auditor General on the province's decision to open up the protected Greenbelt to housing development. Bonnie Linsk, in a pretty damning report, said that the decision favored developers with connections to the housing minister's chief of staff. She says that the government also failed to consider the environmental, agricultural, and financial risks and impacts of the decision. She also called the process not standard or defensible. She also said that she interviewed the Premier and the Minister. I want to turn to Lori Turnbull now. She's a political analyst. She's been listening in to the AG. Lori, what do you make of what you just heard, and what questions do you still have?
Okay, we heard a lot. There's a lot of layers to this. It kind of reminded me, I mean, there's been lots of times that we have heard about questions around how we can structure this relationship between the political staff and the public service side. A lot of what she said, without wanting to draw too many parallels between the two situations, reminded me of some of the report from Justice Gomery many years ago when we were talking about the sponsorship scandal and how, again, the relationship between political staff and the public service seemed to have been creating some problems there. So, I mean, I think there's so many layers to this, right? Like there's obviously in the first instance, the use of the Greenbelt land, having land removed from the Greenbelt, the allegations of ties to friends of Ford, donors to Ford. How is this going to impact the Premier's office? How is he going to respond to this? I think that taking any land away from that would have been controversial, even if process had been followed, given the environmental implications. But the fact that she's saying there was no process, there was an exercise, and she's really pointing the finger at the chief of staff and saying the minister didn't know, and she's saying the Premier's saying he didn't know. And then there's the role of the public servants who were allegedly kind of complicit in this and doing this work without the appropriate channels being followed.
Yeah, and let's focus for a minute on the Premier and the Minister, who she said that she interviewed. As you point out, they told her that they weren't aware of the process. It sounds like nothing is going to stick to the Premier here. What do you make of that? I mean, in the minds of many, it's incredible or incredulous, but what do you think of what we learned from the Premier? And I should also note that he's going to be speaking at 1 o'clock. He's making an announcement, and no doubt the reporters will be all over him on this report. But what do you make of what we heard from the Auditor General?
Sure. So she made these comments around, Ford said he didn't know how this is happening and the minister didn't know, but yet the decision was one of cabinet. And she indicates that obviously happened. That's who's making the decision. And they approved this perhaps with not enough information. And then she really puts it into Ford's court, I think, and says, well, if this is a decision you're not happy with, perhaps there wasn't enough information and clearly the appropriate consultations did not happen, maybe then the decision should be revisited. So I think she's really put it back in Ford's court and said, look, if this is not what you want to be doing, then maybe you should reconsider that. Maybe you should do something different. In terms of whether something sticks to Ford, I'm guessing that he is going to engage this press conference and say, look, there's nothing to see here. We have nothing to hide and everything is above board, and just sort of hope this thing goes away. But I'm not sure that's a safe bet at this point, given we've got more questions than answers now. Right, we've got more. How in the world did this chief of staff do all of these things, and others didn't know about it? There's too many questions around how this could have actually happened over time.
Do you think that the OPP will investigate?
I have no idea, and that's not my lane
like
either.
her.
Yeah, that's right. I know. I'm going to take a message. She was smart, and I'm going to try to follow suit. I have no idea if they will or not, but I think
is there something there to investigate? Let me put the question that way.
Well, I think what's going to happen now is if there is no investigation, there's going to be a series of questions about, hang on, how is it the case that there's billions of dollars here on the line, and this land has so much value, and there's this connection to 3 developers in particular, and there's an overlap with donors to Ford and donors to the PC party. Like I don't know if they're going to investigate or not, but there's going to be an awful lot of questions if that all continues to hang in the air.
Lori Turnbull, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you sticking around. And of course, we're going to continue to follow the fallout from this report. As mentioned, the Premier is going to be speaking at 1 o'clock. We're also expecting to hear from members of the opposition. So stay with us here for that.